Another one of our podcast guests, Mark, thinks that with Kubernetes, it's quite easy to pay more than necessary because you pay for allocated or provisioned infrastructure, machines you start that are often underused. What strategies do you use to optimize Kubernetes costs?
Yeah, so I think, for starters, you definitely recommend things like Horizontal Pod Autoscaling, HPA, and Vertical Pod Autoscaling, VPA. Because at the end of the day, the scheduler is allocating resources based on the requests in the pod, right? The memory, the CPU, the GPU that the pod is requesting. That is how the resources are allocated. So you can do bursting. There's a lot of things you can do to kind of fine tune that. But at the end of the day, if your resources are kind of out of whack, then you're going to end up paying a lot more than what you need to do. So I think those tools are very useful for right sizing. And actually, one thing on VPA that I think is really cool that everyone should be doing is you can run it in advisory mode, right? So, VPA is a tool that can essentially resize the resources of the actual containers. And the problem with that is, at least before IPPU, which is the technology that I mentioned at the beginning that I'm excited about and kind of watching, but before that's a thing, it would actually restart the pod and it would have some other sort of side effects that perhaps undesirable. But you can actually just run it in advisory mode. So when you run it in advisory mode, you basically just get some data written to the Kubernetes resource that says, hey, this is what the system thinks this container needs, right? And it's almost like, and particularly on my product on GKE, right, it's basically free to get that data. So why not just turn it on and get that data written into the container, right? And then you can use it or not use it. So I think that's very useful. And the other thing, of course, is make sure you're using a platform that has auto-scaling at the platform level, right? So you've got HPA, VPA, right-sizing the pods.